All right, let's get another live game. Let's switch back to my live game interface here, which I just updated on Twitch. All right, I'm here in double though, so let's get that. Oh, well, first let's get F4 on the board. We got a bird. Let me get rid of my my second tab there. All right, we got a bird. We got D5. All right, we got knight F3. C5. All right, Black's playing this very conventionally. Knight C6 usually, or maybe knight F6. Either is good, I think. Yeah, knight F6 makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna go for, yeah, this is like very, very common. This is probably like the most common setup against the bird. These three moves on the first couple moves. We're gonna get the bishop on B2. We're gonna go for a pretty traditional bird setup here, I think is what I'm gonna get in this position. I'm expecting a pretty traditional bird in this game. Hopefully we can get our chop on the queen side and double some pawns. Uh-oh, did I miss a move? Oh, E6, all right. Somehow I didn't hear the piece sound, the move sound on chess.com. I'm working to fully embrace Taco Bell. Yeah, I should hope so, Taco. I should hope so. It is your namesake, after all. All right, we pin the knight. We're gonna double if given the opportunity. They don't allow us to double. That makes a lot of sense. I think I can take here immediately if I want. I'm actually gonna wait for them to force me to. I am gonna go ahead and trade these two pieces. The light squared bishop is not a great piece in the bird. I can retreat if I want to. That's not crazy either. After A6, retreating the bishop is totally fine, I think. However, it's a bad piece in the bird. It just is. So I'm happy to trade it off. Yes, I give up the bishop pair, but in return I have two really, really strong minor pieces. In fact, these two minor pieces are, as of yet, the best pieces on the board. The best minor pieces on the board. Okay, so here we have a choice of setups. We can play knight C3 or we can go for D3 and then knight D2. And I think on this question, it's always a matter of like, where does the knight want to go to eventually? And I think eventually this knight wants to swing all the way over here somewhere. And so I think knight D2, D3 first, is the move on the board, and then knight D2 is my move on in the next position. And I'm ready to swing this knight around, probably to F3, where it can provide some further support for my really strong knight on E5. This is a monster piece on E5. Ultimately, I do think Black is gonna push away this knight with F6. I fully expect them to play it that way, but that's not a problem. I actually like the idea of going for this rook lift. Look at that, rook F3 and then rook coming out this way. It's a pretty common attacking idea in the bird. It might look a little bit scary because they can play after rook F3. They can play D4, opening up an attack on the rook. But I always have E4 in that position. Also, I could just trade these two pieces. That's totally fine too. But I don't really want to trade these two pieces because this knight is the best piece on the board. So I actually don't want to give it away that easily. Not yet, anyway. Maybe if they play bishop here, maybe I will consider. Oh, look at that. Bishop here would lose a piece, actually. Believe it or not. Takes, and I have a fork in the end. That's cool. So I'm going to keep that in my back pocket. I'm going to keep an eye on that idea. All right, now this looks really strong. Look at this. I've got some firepower over here on the Kingside now. My once strong dark squared bishop is no longer a strong piece, which is a bummer, but it's not the end of the world. Ultimately, I'm gonna swing around. I'm gonna swing these two heavy pieces to the Kingside somewhere, and then probably queen e2 on this move, and then this rook swings to f1. That looks good. And then ultimately this dark squared bishop is going to find a home on c1, where maybe it won't be an amazing piece, but it will participate in the game somehow. I'm going to involve this bishop eventually. I'm pretty confident of that. Again, always bishop d6 still loses a piece on the next move. So I'm just going to kind of see if my opponent falters or makes a mistake here. They have some really weak dark squares around the king. For the time being, I don't think I have a good way to really take advantage of that. As planned, I think rook f1. I can also consider g4. Again, that would make 2 games in a row where I'm playing some crazy weakening moves. But g4 looks good here. I mean, how exactly are they going to make me pay for that? Okay, I'll keep that in my back pocket. I'm going to start with this. Play this a little bit more, I'm going to have a little bit more patience here. I don't think I'm in a rush here. I don't think I'm in a rush to like checkmate my opponent immediately here. So I think I can slowly sort of build up. We're in this position. I'm doing a really nice job of controlling c4. So this is like a break that Black would love to get on the queen side, but it doesn't work. I have a ton of pieces just aimed at it. I have both of my knights are aimed at it actually, so it just doesn't work. It just loses a piece. Ooh, but look at this actually. My bishop's really shitty here. But I can try to open it up with c3. The only thing is after c3, they don't have to take and allow my bishop to come to life there. They can actually wait for me to take and take back with a pawn. And the bishop will still be, well, not a great piece. But I can prepare c3 with knight f3. So now I'm ready to play c3, and if they don't respond, I can take twice on d4 with a great position. I think I'm still controlling c4 pretty well. I think c4 is still off limits. Yeah, I just take twice. Look at that, my knight. This is why my knight's so strong in this position. Really. So they really want f6 or f5. I fully expect f6. I wonder if I can try to beat them to the punch with f5. f5, they can play f6. I take here, they take. Ooh, look at that. So I'm going to keep c3 in my back pocket. f5 looks really strong here. So f5, f6, I'm prepared to sack the knight there. Takes, check. But it doesn't quite, I don't know that quite works because, I don't know that quite works. Although I want it to work really bad. Can I go for this? Kind of ridiculous. Could go for g4 here. Now I can play g4. Really explode the king side. I like c3 though. c3 because I'm adding another attacker here. And after f6, my knight has some good squares. My knight, well, one good square to return to on g4. Not a problem. I'm ready to involve the bishop. I'm threatening to take twice here on d4. And if they take, and actually I don't know that they can do anything about that. I mean, I think I'm opening up this bishop one way or another. And interesting, really. I don't believe in that. I don't think that's a good move. I do not think that's a good move. I don't think they're in a position to be throwing pawns at me. I think my pieces are better placed here on the king side to get an attack brewing here. I think I'm hoping I can make them regret that move. because I think my pieces are just better placed to take advantage of, to really attack. G6, I mean, okay, yeah, so, you know, this bishop's a pretty strong defender. The light squared bishop, specifically, is a good defender here. Yeah, this looks great, though. This looks fantastic. Alright, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Actually, I just take twice, though. I just take twice. Yeah. I mean, I'm just winning a pawn, simply. Right? What am I missing? I mean, they're opening up... They're trying to open up their bishops. Obviously. Which are otherwise pretty miserable. Maybe my rook gets into trouble here. Something to keep in mind. If they do end up winning an exchange, like trading off one of their bishops for my rook, it's really not the end of the world. So my rook might be getting into trouble here, but I'm not ultra concerned about that just yet. Maybe I should be. So here, maybe I can give a check first. Can I do that? Can I give a check first? Yeah, I think so. I think I can get away with this. I still firmly believe my pieces are just better positioned. Okay, so even here, look at this. E5. They can't really take there just yet because I take back with the queen and that's a check. But they could try to take my rook there. The problem is I take with check, and then I'm getting two pieces for the rook, which should be good. Should be winning. Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna take here first. Wait. What do I want to do here? Yeah, I'm gonna be careful here. I think this works. Alright. Threatening to win the bishop now. That's a good move. That's a good move. I think they want this. Maybe, I wonder if I can go for the sacrifice here. Well, first things first, let's play this. I think they want this. This knight's pinned, obviously. Well, actually, no, I'm threatening to win the bishop first. Still threatening to win the bishop. Still threatening to win the bishop. They can give a check. Nothing to be concerned about. And my bishop's gonna come alive here. Mark my words, this dark squared bishop's gonna come alive here. I'm gonna keep an eye on the clock though, because I'm letting the time tick here. And I'm also gonna keep an eye on this sacrifice here. Alright, that makes a lot of sense. That move makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, so now the question is, after takes with the rook, how do I take back? Probably just with the queen. I could take back with the king. As crazy as that looks, that is a possibility. What? That seems wrong. Because I have this move. That seems wrong. That just seems wrong. There's no check. Checkmates. Yeah. GG's. GG's. That was a nice win. I've had a couple nice wins today. Let's take a quick look. Let's get my analysis going here. I guess it's looking right on the screen here. I'm gonna turn up the volume on this music just like 2 little notches there. Look at that, 93% accuracy. Look at that. Not bad, guys. Not bad. Chess.com gives my middle game double exclamation mark, although I shouldn't put much stock into chess.com's game review. But honestly, this was a nice attacking game in the bird. Like this is exactly the kind of position you want to get in a bird opening. Like, I mean, what's the whole point of playing f4 is that we're creating some outposts in Black's territory, and eventually we're gonna throw all these pawns down the board, and having played f4 on move 1 makes that attack just that much more potent and that much more that much stronger because I've played f4 on move 1, and it's a very risky move, right? Like I'm immediately weakening the king, but this is exactly how you take advantage of that move, right? But this is like a normal this is very normal bird opening. That black has played this in a very this is principled chess here, right? Like immediately, basically like trying to go for the maximum and control a lot of the center with d5 and c5. This is how black probably should play it. Although there's many ways to play against the bird. Yeah, knight c6, and then I pin the knight, and I threaten to double their pawns. They break the pin, which makes a lot of sense. I think they can also break it this way. This way is also fine, I think. Maybe this lets me go here, but then they just break it. Yeah, no, yeah, so there's a couple different ways to break this pin. Bishop d7 is pretty good. And in this position, I'm planning to take here. I'm planning to take here on c6. I've essentially committed, at least in my own mind, that I'm going to take here on c6 at some point. But I'm not going to do that until I am basically forced to with a6. So that's why I don't take here right away. Like, I'm playing little games with black. I'm trying to get them to waste a move, essentially, which is exactly what they did. They're not wasting a move here. Maybe that's like an exaggeration, but I'm just getting them to, lose an extra tempo. And this is totally equal, but I am threatening to double their pawns still. So they responded to that threat. And yeah, so in the bird, there's a couple different setups. Usually the knight either comes to c3 or it comes to d2 most of the time. And when there's no doubled pawns on the board, eventually this knight comes to a4, but without the doubled pawns, it's not really a good piece. It's not well placed on a4. It can be chased away with b5. So I went for this d3 and knight d2 move, and I went for the rook lift, which is a pretty common attacking idea. And I was pretty happy to see d4. Like, d4 looks good on paper. I actually had a couple ways of responding to this. I could have just taken here if I wanted, but I like this is kind of the standard response in the bird, which is just pushing. And black is closing up the center here when I have an attack brewing here on the king side, right? Like, I'm ready to start hurling these pawns down the board. Maybe not on this move, but on the next move, in a couple moves. I'm always happy to see this. I'm always happy when my opponent allows me to close up the center of the board here, because it means all the actions happening on the king side. And I ask you, who is better positioned to win the game on the king side? Well, it's got to be white, right? It's got to be white in this position. So maybe, yeah, I mean, I do have this weakness on e3. Maybe the knight can try to come here. Not so easy. I'm getting a challenge from GM Kid for Life. If you're listening to the stream, challenge me to an unrated game. I do not want to play a rated game against my viewers. So I think the challenge that just came through was a rated game. So please challenge me to an unrated game, and I'm happy to play. Absolutely happy to play. It looks like my the request timed out, or I don't appear to have access to that request anymore. That challenge, excuse me. And I thought this was, from this point on, I thought this was a really nice attacking game. Knight g8 is very simple. They're just basically telegraphing the pass. They're ready to play. They're committing to playing f6 here. And I guess I could have played f5 here. I mean, I was looking at this. I did end up playing f5 anyway. I guess I could have played it on this move. And after f6, yeah, what I was thinking about is takes with check, but this is a mistake, because the king just takes, and suddenly my rook's kind of misplaced here. So I don't... Oh, wait a minute. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. But it's cute. It's cute. So f6, Yeah, h5. The computer likes this. I thought this was bad. I really thought h5 was a bad move because I'm just in a better position to exploit the king here. Like, it's just kind of weaken. It really, really weakens g6. I was really happy to see this. And now I'm opening up the position. They attack my rook. I don't really care so much about this rook. If I lose an exchange here, so what? So what? I have, my attack doesn't end there. My attack's still brewing. So I was absolutely ready to sacrifice the exchange here. Once again, I'm sacrificing the exchange, but it would be this would be a mistake here. Why? Because I'm taking here with check. And now after, I don't know, it takes this way, I get 2 pieces for the rook. That should be good for white. And again, at some point I am gonna open up this bishop. And I don't think black had any way to stop this bishop from getting opened up eventually. Okay, well they didn't take there. They took on f6. I played e5. They played bishop g5. I attacked the bishop. They occupied the outpost, but the thing is, I can destabilize this rook, this bishop, excuse me. I can destabilize this bishop. Now this bishop has no support. They take with check, which makes some sense. And I'm a little surprised to see that white is dominating in this position. I would have said white was better. I guess I'm up 2 pawns, but the engine says it's plus 5.8. And I'm a little surprised that it's that huge of a difference, but then okay, bishop g4 just loses the queen. Just loses the queen. Yeah. All right. Let's get another one. I'm not seeing the game challenge from the game challenge I just received.